What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at the second future star on the channel, and it is going to be none other than big boy Reece James. And the interesting thing with Reece James is, and a few of the others in this second team, they're going to be re-released as a different position. So if you didn't like your Reece James as a right back, next week there is going to be a CDM Reece James. I need to look into it a little bit more, but it looks pretty interesting, to be honest. I think that's going to be a nice kind of different way of doing things. Obviously, when you pack them, then they're not necessarily the duplicates. You have got two positions then, and it's just interesting. I always like a position change, so this is definitely down my street in terms of variety of FIFA. I love Future Star for the fact you've got new cards that you don't necessarily have to play with or don't want to play with, to now being some of the top players. Like last year we had Felix, who was great. We've had obviously trying to think who the big ones were. We had Guendouzi, was quite a nice one a couple years ago. We've had Foden as it. We've had Trent as it. There's been some really good future stars just off the top of my head. And this year is no different. We've already got a batch of one, and not terrible. Reece James is coming in at 440 to 475, depending on what console you're on. Let's get into the review and see how Reece James can do. So Reece James is coming in, like I say, 440, 475, Xbox, PlayStation. He unfortunately hasn't had a skill move or weak foot increase. He is still a 3-star. Skill moves I'm not too fussed about, but the weak foot would be quite nice to have that as maybe a 4 or 5. Even if they left the skill moves there and bumped him up to a 5, would have been absolutely phenomenal. But unfortunately, we are stuck with the 3-star. He is right-footed, 6 foot with a high attacking, medium defensive work rate. So not the greatest work rates for a right back if you want him to defend. The guy is a right wing back. He has got some lovely stats. The only thing realistically he cannot do is shoot. There is just a lack of finishing on him, which it's a right back. He's not going to be the top scorer in your team. He's not really going to, well, I've said that about Tavernier, to be honest, but still managing to bag in goals. But Reece James has got 91 pace, 83 passing with some decent ones, short, curve, and obviously crossing being the main three. We've then got a bit of stamina, decent amount of strength, aggression's at 80, it's decent, 81 jumping, great defensive stats at 92 standing, 85 defensive awareness, 86 interceptions, 87 slide, and again, some really good dribbling on him. And this is why it leads me to believe he's going to be more of a right wing back, and I think this would suit him as a CDM 100%. Literally all you need on him, realistically, is probably like an anchor or something. It boosts that pace up to 96, 93 defending, and 92 physical. Turn him into a 92 right back, 92 centre back, or a 88 CDM. So a very well-rounded card. I'm interested in the CDM. Let's look at some gameplay and then we'll go into the overall. So if we do go into some gameplay with Reece, honestly, going down a wing was quite nice with him. He was linking up with Figo quite well, and realistically the gameplay was, I think I said it in the, who was the first one, a Bergwijn review, it felt a little bit slow. I don't know if it's just because there were so many people on the game and the servers can't hack it or whatever, but the service felt really slow and didn't really kind of show the potential of a lot of players. Even using like the Messi loan card really didn't seem that amazing, whereas Reece James pulled out some of the bag, managing to get a lot of tackles. Obviously a lot of players go down wide and really try and kind of attack inwards. Reece James is there to absolutely stop it. Normally we're using Zambrotta there, we've had Bellerin before, we've had loads of right backs at Mukiele. We've had so many right backs that it's interesting to see the difference now between them, and honestly he puts in the work. He does get forward, he's got a nice little cross on him. Personally, I do like to keep my right back as tight in as the defense as possible. I'm not a big fan of making them overlap like a lot, just because of that counter can always absolute squeeze the worst out of you. And honestly, even here we see I don't know what he was trying to do. I think he was trying to win a penalty with Neymar. He manages to win it back, managed to get it second luckily, and then he just runs it out of play, passes it on. Phenomenal stuff. So if we do go into the overall for Reece James, as you can see on the screen, I think he should be around about the same price, 440 Xbox, 475 on the PlayStation. I don't see that going up or down as of yet, just because there is no more lightning rounds tonight. More than likely we'll get another kind of price indication throughout the morning, and then obviously going into lightning rounds number 2 if they do bring them out on the Saturday. And hopefully we do get some upgrade packs. I feel like that's going to be a must during Future Stars, and hopefully we can get a few of them in the club. I'm kind of like, I'm hit and miss with the card design with this one. I feel like I do like it, but then I did like the previous one, but I think this one's going to grow on me. It always does, and obviously we want to see that flair come out of the walkouts. We've seen pretty much every single walkout flair so far, so we've got to keep to that and get at least one special card per promo. In terms of similar players, I've gone with Bellerin. If we do have a look as well at the other right backs in the Premier League, obviously we have a big one in Trent Alexander-Arnold's Team of the Year, which is coming in at about £1 million, so it's a little bit of a price increase. Obviously we've got Cancelo as a road to the final that will go up. I think he will eventually probably do better than James, but I think that's going to be a kind of give and take depending on how City do in the Champions League. Bellerin's the next one, and then other than that, I feel like Reece James is up there in the top 4. It's going to be Trent, James, Bellerin and Cancelo to kind of fight for that position. And then if you are looking kind of out of the Prem, you're looking at icons realistically. There is a few decent specials here, there and everywhere, but I think Prem-wise, you're looking at that list and it's a cracking list. In terms of generations, obviously he's come from Chelsea to start with. I believe he was an academy player who went out on loan in his team of the season, and we managed to pack him actually from a bronze packs multiple times, which was absolutely fantastic. He then manages to get a FIFA 20 silver card, and this year he was his first gold rare, and now we have got an 87 version of him. Absolutely phenomenal from him, so really good to see some English talent coming in. Trait wise, we've got early cross, and then other than that, stat wise, anchor, that's what it does. I think the next one is going to be a shadow, but I feel like that's such a waste of the extra 2 pace and getting no more physicals. Does have him a 1 more on the rating, but I think getting that physical is going to be a huge step in the right direction for him. Really makes him into that kind of overall centre back / right back more than kind of just having the ultra shadow put on him. Other than that, we've got links in Chelsea, which are phenomenal. We've got plenty of players there. Pulisic, obviously, the other side. We then got Ziyech. We've also got Havertz, who really haven't done too much. Werner's kind of slowed down a little bit, but was plenty of special cards at the start of the game. We've got Kante in form or normal Kante, which I think is absolutely fine still on this game. Mason Mount's road to the final, and then Chilwell's got the other side covered with his left back. So an interesting start to Chelsea's kind of season as such. Not really a huge amount of specials in comparison to normal, but there's definitely still time for them to get some cracking links. And obviously you've got Joe Gomez as the strong but perfect linked in terms of a centre-back. And then I think on the right mid, there isn't a huge amount of options in right mid for the Prem. I feel like you're looking at Salah, you're looking at Lucas, I believe, Mahrez, Bernardo. No one really with a massive strong link that you want to use, but you've still got plenty of players there. If you really wanted to and you've got a bit of coins, you obviously have mid Beckham as a right mid. So if you wanted to splash some coins, obviously that one could be quite a nice one. But overall, I feel like Reece James is a good player. I don't think I'd go 440 for him, just because there's been so many free versions of cards. Even just centre-back, right-backs, whatever. There's been plenty of them, and I really don't think buying this card for 440 compared to maybe of Complete and Bellerin is worth the coins. I just think it's just going to be a waste in terms of where you could put that coins to good use. I'd be looking at more of a striking option more than going for this card, which is very similar to Bellerin. I feel like it's just mainly the strength element of him that is 10 times better, obviously, but I think Bellerin's kind of work rate down and up the pitch is as good. It's phenomenal. But overall, I think he's a good card. I just don't think he's quite the material that I'm looking for. I feel like Zambrotta does just as good as a job, and obviously we are looking for that Carlos Alberto prime. That would be the kind of overall goal, or at least team of the year trend, and then team of the season's around a corner at some point, so that's going to just literally change it every single week. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below, who do you want to get in future stars to put in your team. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.